to go. Okay, Cuyahoga County Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee meeting for Wednesday, June the 29th, 2022. Be called to order. Roll call, please.
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Ms. Turner.
Here.
There is a quorum.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have any public comment this morning?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
All right, and if I could have approval of minutes from the June 15th, 2022 meeting?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the June 15th, 2022 meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. And Madam Clerk, if you could please read the first matter referred to committee.
Resolution number 2022-0154, awarding a total sum not to exceed $1,145,644.92 to the City of Parma Heights for the purpose of constructing the Nathan Hale Stormwater Basin from the District 4 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
All right, and we have someone to speak on behalf of this legislation this morning. If you could just please come up and state your name for the record. And if anybody else follows, please also state your name for the record. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is that, I don't know if that button's on. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Marie Gallo. My address is 6236 Mandalay, Parma Heights, 44130. I am the mayor of the city of Parma Heights. With me, I brought my service director, my director of finance, our city engineer, and our grant coordinator. The Nathan Hale Retention Basin project has been in the works for about 3 years. We recently received approval from the federal government after 3 years to go ahead with this project. My finance director will speak on the cost, and it's in excess of several $1 million, and the price should only go up. So we are grateful that we are being considered for this funding.
All right, is there anybody to speak on behalf of what the work is going to be entailing here? So,
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
and again, if you could just state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Dan Bender, city engineer for Parma Heights. The project is it's a stormwater pond, a basin that's being constructed in Nathan Hale Park. It's going to be it's something that's been in the works for. There's that area of Parma Heights. There's a lot of stormwater issues with basement backups, so the basement's being constructed to help alleviate the stormwater issues, basement backups for the people of the residents in that area. The project will also include a pathway around the pond and also a building and also a gazebo and some other educational items that'll go along with this project.
Okay. And as far as the flooding, we know flooding is a problem in that area. As a councilman in Parma, former councilman in Parma, I know what the issues are for residents with flooding and how difficult it is for folks to, and it impacts quality of life in the city and for those individuals. How many people will be impacted approximately with respect to alleviating some of this flooding, if you can give us an estimate? Okay, if you could just state your name for the record. Okay.
I believe it affects just around a quarter of the community, which is about 5,000 people. And as Mr. Bender, he came on a little later in the game, our previous engineer, Mr. Neff, and as Mayor said, this is going on for 3 years. There was a lot of cumulative studies done on those areas every time there was flooding going, so there was a lot of planning and trying to figure out what was going on with it. And so it's about a quarter of the community, and it's our whole community overall is about 44.6% LMI, and that is a heavily LMI area over there. And it also, this basin will also, being that it's on the border of Parma, you know, very close to it, it will also assist Parma residents in that same area, geographically anyway. So this thing does more than just service Parma. It actually spreads into the district a little more.
Right, and that's my understanding from your submittal paperwork, that it'll impact not only Parma Heights, but the adjacent community in Parma as well, where anytime we can help alleviate flooding in an entire region, I think that's just a very beneficial thing. And then maybe if you could just explain about some of the beautification that's supposed to occur with this as well.
Yeah, part of it was that the land was originally donated to the city by the National Park Service. So we had to obtain permission from the National Park Service to alter the park. And that was a lengthy process that the city went through. And part of it was determined that they wanted the retention basin. They said it was fine to be in there, but they also wanted a park-like setting. So there's a kind of a double balance here. One, you're going to help balance off the stormwater, and you're also going to add to the recreation component serving that area.
Right. And just to, again, to clarify, you're talking literally thousands of people that'll be impacted by.
Oh, yes,
this,
absolutely,
help
sir.
with alleviating
Absolutely.
flooding is the idea.
There'll be
here.
a walk-in trail, as Mr. Bender stated. There's going to be some points that show the children and stuff what's going on. It's a natural setting. And what it's supposed to do is grab the water, hold it, and then release it back out into the storm sewer slow to help alleviate the flooding, which we've had so many residents over the years that have had their basements flood 2 and 3 times. Insurance companies are dropping them. They have no protection whatsoever. So this will be huge. It'll be a huge step to help those people.
Right. And, without getting into too much detail, these ARPA funds, they're needed for your community,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, Parma Heights, again, you spoke to, the income levels and things like that, and with respect to your ability to attract, long-term homeowners in the
Young
community.
families, bring them back.
You want to bring them back into the community. And when you bring families back into the community, then that helps spur economic development in the community. And we know that you guys are going through some difficulty. You're doing some good things. I know Mayor Gallows and yourself and some other folks there and the council are doing some very good things in the community. But this is one of those things that we hope will spur, economic development down the road if we could take care of our bedroom communities, as somebody put it to me.
We have parks in Parma Heights are within a half-hour walking distance for any resident. We've got that many parks. So anytime you can enhance a park for the kids, for the young families, it's an opportunity to bring people back to showcase and say, look, we can just walk up the street and take our kids to a beautiful walking trail or
Right.
playgrounds or whatever.
Right. Okay, I'll open it up to the floor for my colleagues. Any questions from my colleagues? I see Mr. Miller has a question.
Yes, not a question, just a comment that I think this is the kind of thing that these ARPA funds are intended for, to enable communities to do things that they might not be able to do for quite a while down the road because resources are scarce, and this is going to make a lot of people's lives better and improve the overall attractiveness of the community, and I think it's a very desirable project.
All right. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Miller. Any other questions or comments from my colleagues?
Can I,
Mr. Sweeney?
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Permission to be somewhat of a smart aleck, or attempt to be?
I mean, I think that's a common element in it, and so I just,
You've been working on this for 3 years?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And did Mayor Byrne have anything to do with trying to push this?
Yes, he did. The majority of the time, he pushed it, and I was able to see it through at the end.
And through the chair, just want to recognize Mayor Byrne. And I know he tried hard, but these dollars, as Dale said, through your leadership and your team, was able to produce something that's going to be tremendously beneficial to the neighborhood. And Nathan Hale, stormwater, Mayor Mike Byrne, stormwater, I mean, just think about it. I'm just kidding about it. Thank you. I hope you're watching, Mayor.
all right. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Any other questions or comments? One question I had, Mayor, is I know some of these projects that council are proposing to their colleagues, which, by the way, has to go through committee and has to go through the entire council. As we discussed in our initial meeting, inquiring as to some of your needs in Parma Heights. I made it very clear to you and Mr. Sebas that you still had to make your case to the committee and to the entire council. I'm just, acting as a liaison between my that's a big word, isn't it? Between my committee members and the rest of my council members. So, ultimately, the vote will be up to the entire council body, and I know you and Mr. Sebas and the other officials in the city of Parma Heights are aware of that. So just want to confirm that and clarify that. So as far as the project goes, is this a shovel-ready project? Is this ready to get moving along?
It's currently out to bid right now. Bids should be open, I believe, the middle of July, and we would hope to get started within 6 months after that.
Okay, so I'm just inquiring as far as the need for the funding. Do you have any objection to us going full 3 readings on this? Or is this something that you need immediate assistance with so you can allow it?
No, I wouldn't object to 3 readings.
Okay, because that's kind of what we're doing with some of the other ARPA funding. Yes?
Through the chair, just the 3 readings because we have a recess in August. It might push it to September, just for your information.
Yeah, that's something we're trying to get some clarification on, but I think we'll be able to get them in.
Oh, if we do it.
Yeah, that was my understanding, yeah. So, yeah, but,
That should be fine.
okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Miller?
We have 3 additional meetings yet before the recess. We have 2 in July and the 1 in August, so we have plenty of time to get this passed prior to the recess, even with a full reading schedule.
All right, thank you, Mr. Miller. If there are no other questions or comments, then I will make a motion to move R 2022-0154 along to the full council for first reading.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we'll move that on to the full council body. And thank you all for being here. And I do believe this is a very worthwhile transformational project in Parma Heights, and the folks there should be very excited for the leadership you're showing and the future there in Parma Heights. So thanks for coming out today. Madam Clerk, if you could, the next piece of legislation.
Resolution number 2022-0183, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires construction of East 26th Street from Community College Avenue to Central Avenue in the city of Cleveland.
Nicole English with
Oh,
Public
it's just
Works.
Nicole again.
No, I never get this many people at my committee, this is great. So this is an item that is the start of a project. So this is East 26th Street that we are working with both ARPA money and County Road and Bridge money to do the project. So we gave you, I believe you have a slideshow that went out that kind of shows a map of the area. Do we have this? Okay, just to be sure. So this is part of the Central Surge Project, which you may have heard through the county executive's office, where it's a concerted effort of different departments infusing capital and resources to this area that's been sort of overlooked in the city of Cleveland in the past. So this is Public Works' contribution to the project. It is helping to design the East 26th Street roadway and then construct it using $1.2 million of ARPA funds and $800,000 of County Road and Bridge funds, and then also $1 million of ARPA funds that would go into the park plan that is there. The city of Cleveland is rehabbing their rec center on their own. That's a $2 million project that they are doing. And then CMHA is building what's shown as senior building, but actually they're calling it the Scholar House now, which is going to provide academic after-school type of programming for the neighborhood. The other phase 2 and 3 as shown and East 28th are already completed. So this is kind of the full plan then once we invest in these couple areas. So I know there's some question about the road and bridge funding and what we're using it for. We have set aside about $1 million a year for fiscally constrained cities where we wouldn't require local match. We've used these in the past for East Cleveland projects. We've also used them in the township in Olmsted Township, where we have to cover some of their road projects. So that's the funding that we're dipping into for this, even though it is not a county road today, just for that information. The plan is to start construction in the fall of the road. So it's probably sell it sometime late this fall, and then actual construction probably start in the spring. Any questions?
Okay. I'm going to open this up to my colleagues to start off with. Mr. Miller?
Yes. Just one question. There's lots of road and bridge money. Why do we need to use ARPA money for this project?
So most of our road and bridge money should be used on county roads and bridges, right? So this is not a county route. So that's why the proposition is to kind of split it between. So we're using a portion of road and bridge money, but then a portion of ARPA money to fill in the gap. Because we, like I said, we have about $1 million a year that we set aside for these fiscally constrained cities or emergency projects that come up. That's what we're dipping into. So if we took, I mean, we're using 800,000, that's almost the whole million, but that's really all we have in a year that we've budgeted.
And was this item on the list of ARPA items that the executive and the council agreed to?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Did City of Cleveland approach you, or how did that work?
So this was kind of a concerted effort when this neighborhood was selected. We looked initially at, is there a county roads around the area that could be invested in that needed help? Like that would be, you know, our contribution as far as public works goes. And really most of them were in decent shape or already planned between the city and us in the past. And so the city did come to us and say, well, hey, we have this, you know, rec center project we're trying to work on. What do you think about it? And so we worked together to kind of identify where we could help funding wise and design of this road. And so everybody kind of got on board between Cleveland, the county, and CMHA to make this happen.
Okay. All right, any other questions or comments?
I just got one.
Mr. Sweeney?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that revolving million, does that keep growing, or is it capped at $1 million and then you keep?
It's $1 million in our budget every year. If there's a real need for something else, we sometimes can shift some money around. Either we bring it up or move it up. But it's $1 million that we put aside from road and bridge dollars.
Just through the chair, just the question was, if there's money left over, does it stay?
Yes.
That's like
Yeah,
500,000.
yeah. Oh, yes.
every
Yeah,
million,
rollover.
five. What's
Yep.
the total, what's the amount in there now?
I'd have to go back and ask our fiscal officer, but yeah, it's,
You can let me know at your convenience. It's not a pressing issue.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Conwell?
And through the chair, and going forward, who will do the upkeep and maintenance?
the city.
Okay.
So with part of our agreement, it says they then take over the road and the park is all theirs afterwards. They are building the park. They'll construct the park themselves. The county will construct the road.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. With that, I know you mentioned the timeline here. What is the situation with, should this be 3 readings?
Yeah, it's fine to go 3 readings because we've got a little time before we need to sell it.
Okay. If there are no objections or any of the questions, I'll make a motion to move this along to the full council on first
Second.
reading. We have a motion- We have a motion and a second from Councilwoman Conwell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. All right, Madam Clerk, if you could, the last piece of legislation here.
Mr. Chair, can I have my name
Oh,
added
yeah,
to
Ms.
the last
Conwell
one?
would like her name added to that legislation,
Mr.
please.
Chair, I'd like my name
And
added.
Ms. Turner as well. All right, thank you.
Resolution number 2022-0184, making an award on requisition number 9273 to Chagrin Valley Paving Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $524,707.50 for reconstruction of Cuyahoga County Airport South Taxi Lanes U and V.
Okay, and if you just state your name for the record.
Nicole English from Public Works again. So this is an award of a contract. This is work being done out on the county airport. We did receive only 1 bid. However, it was just $10,000 over the engineer's estimate. So we are recommending an award of the project. I think the light bidders, the amount isn't huge. This is kind of a smaller project at the airport for us, which is why it's being funded with an ODOT aviation grant at 80/20 instead of the FAA that sometimes we're used to at 90%, because this is a smaller project that ODOT actually can fund in full. Chagrin Valley Paving is the award contractor. There's no diversity goal set by the county because it is ODOT money. It is set by the state, and there's an 8% goal, which they've met. This is working on the reconstruction of some of the taxi lanes that are in need of repaving. Any questions?
Yes, as far as the work that's being done, is there anything, because it's a airport Is there anything like special with the pavement or anything like that, or is it
Yeah,
just
so the
regular?
pavement design is different, and then just how they lay it and working, that's why we don't see a lot of bids on airport jobs either, because not every contractor has the ability to work in the airport. They have to understand how they're getting on and off, how they're not interfering with planes. So I think that's part of the low interest on bidders. But yes, there is special, it's different than roadway construction,
Okay.
for sure.
And then what is the time frame for this? If you hadn't said, I didn't catch it.
This one, they do plan to start in the fall. I think 2 readings would be helpful, just because always when we have these grants, I don't understand the airport, FAA and ODOT, they want those grants turned around like tomorrow. So as quick as we can get this done would be appreciated.
Okay. Any other questions from my colleagues or comments?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Conwell?
Through the chair to Nicole, there's been a lot of paving projects for the airport. Do we know how many are left?
There's always work to be done at the airport. We have done significant work on the runways, so now we've kind of moved off the runways to the taxiways. So that's where like the planes kind of get ready to go out on the runway. So there's a decent amount of work to be done there. We're looking at even some expansion projects because there is some ability to put some different hangars in different locations, then you need pavement to get them there. So there's still work to be done. We have a master plan that identifies kind of all these different future phases that happy to get in your hands, just for, background.
And do we utilize them in our maintenance program for the roads? To keep that pavement up and extend the life of it?
So we don't, it's a separate pod from the road preventative maintenance, but yes, we have a whole maintenance staff out there on the airport, and they are constantly doing what they can on upkeep, and then these are kind of the major projects that we have to lead in between.
Thank you.
Okay. Someday I think I'd like to go on a tour of the airport.
We'd
If
love to
any other
have
of my
you.
colleagues would like to see it.
Yeah, that'd
I've
be
been here a
great.
couple of years. I just never have been out there. So I'd like to maybe kind of see it, put a face to the pavement, if you will.
Yeah, it'd be really great for you to get out, not just see the work in that we've done, but also the different businesses that are out there. It really is a driver of economic development. We have some major businesses that are located out there at the airport. With the amount of planes they have, it'd be great. We're happy to host.
Very good. Appreciate that. Any other questions or comments on this? Seeing none, looking at the time frame and your request, I'll make a motion to move R 2022-0184 along on second reading suspension. Anybody?
Second.
We have a motion and a second for second reading suspension. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay, and the ayes have it. Is there anything else miscellaneous business before the committee this morning? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the committee will